Warning, the following video contains spoilers for this past Monday's Raw. If you have not seen Raw, please turn away now. This is your final warning. I'm not kidding. Turn back now and come back later. Enjoy the video.
The Cruiserweights, they went head-to-head before their big match at Survivor Series. Also, every member of all the Raw teams sought to see if they could coexist before their respective matches at Survivor Series. The ultimate fantasy warfare finally came to a head, and Raw and SmackDown both went face-to-face. These are my top 5 favorite moments from Monday Night Raw. Roll that footage. How you doing, everybody? My name is Brandon Duchair Craven, and these are my top 5 favorite moments from Monday Night Raw. This time it is for 11/14/2016. So without further ado, let's get to this week's top 5 moments. Number 5 this week, the Cruiserweight match between the Brian Kendrick and Cara. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that bad either. It was just nothing to shake a stick at. Brian Kendrick ended up winning after he hit the captain's hook submission on Sin Cara after he pulled his mask around to where he couldn't see. So, it was a nice filler match anyways. The crowd wasn't real into it though. You win some, you lose some. Number 4 this week, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Now, I'll talk more about this in my pros and cons, but this match made absolutely no sense to me other than it showed that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns could potentially get along on Sunday at Survivor Series. Cesaro and Sheamus, they still can't get along. So, on to the next one. Number 3 this week, The New Day versus Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman. Again, like the other match, didn't make much sense other than showing the 5 members of the men's team could actually get along. That's it. That's it. That's really it. I mean, it was a good match, but that's all it showed. Number 2 this week, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar go face-to-face. This had so much potential. It really, really did. But I will say that it did get me more intrigued for Sunday's match. And, dude, Goldberg looks jacked. I mean, he still looks like the day he left. And it's ridiculous. And it almost ended in a fight. Their confrontation almost ended in a fight. But in true WWE fashion, it didn't. You had me, then you lost me. And my number 1 pick for this week's top 5 moments for Monday Night Raw, the face-off between Team Raw and Team SmackDown Live. It was a great back and forth, and I mean, there was so much to cover. You had Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt facing off against each other. Bray Wyatt cut a heck of a promo on Braun Strowman about how he brought him in, and this Sunday he's going to have to destroy the monster that he created. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Bray Wyatt is absolutely brilliant on the microphone and in the ring, and there was just so much to cover in that, and I didn't get a chance to cover it all, but it was a great back and forth, and at least it ended in a fight for once, for a change, and it was just awesome. And that match has got me intrigued, but I'll talk more about all that in my pros and cons. But first, let's check out some honorable mentions for this week. My honorable mentions for this week, the first one is the build-up to Survivor Series for the men's team. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed the ending between the 2 men's teams for Raw and SmackDown, but the women and the tag teams just kind of took a back seat. And to me, they're just as important as the men. And they're just as important to their brands. My other honorable mention for this week I honestly didn't realize Randy Orton was just as tall as Braun Strowman. I mean, they went head to head last night, and literally they were standing eye to eye. I honestly had no idea Randy Orton was that tall. Like, I had no idea. So, I mean, it was really cool, and that should be a really cool dynamic coming into Sunday. Let's check out some pros and cons for this week. My pro for this week, once again, Goldberg looks to be in absolutely fantastic shape. He hasn't missed a beat, and he looks like the day he left wrestling when he retired the first time. I mean, it's ridiculous. My con for this week, the matches for Survivor Series. If you look at it, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens won. Rollins, Strowman, and Jericho won. Charlotte and Sasha won. That's great. Good for them. But look who lost. Cesaro and Sheamus. That's one tag team for the tag team match. The New Day. That's the captains for the tag team match for Raw. Basically, your tag teams lost. And the same thing can be said with Enzo and Cass and the club. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They won, but their other team members at Survivor Series lost. That is the Shining Stars and R-Truth and Goldust. Not only that, Alicia Fox and Nia Jax lost. Two of the other 5 team members of the Raw Women's team. When you look at it, it's a lose-lose. On one hand, you're only putting emphasis on your main team, and on the other, your tag teams don't mean much, and they're losing before a major pay-per-view. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. Again, the other teams didn't make as much of an impact as the men, and it wasn't right. Those are my top 5 favorite moments from Monday Night Raw for this week. Check back tomorrow for my top 5 favorite moments from SmackDown Live. And do not forget, coming up this weekend, Saturday, is NXT TakeOver Toronto. I'll be doing a review of that on Sunday. And then on Sunday is Survivor Series. That review will be out on Monday of next week. And until then, my name is Brandon Duchair Craven. I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Rollin' Wrestling Review YouTube channel. See you later, everybody.